Hello everybody. Today I'd like to show you guys how to farm certain pure stack gear that you guys are looking for. I made a video on a build guide on the build I'm currently playing, and I did say in that build that I'll be making a pure guide farm on how I target certain pure farming stats that I would like. So first, let's go over the loot filter. My one's pretty strict. So I have them all set up the same, all the way up to legendary, where only pure stack gear will drop and perfect score, which means I'll have an exclamation mark of 3, which is the highest you could possibly get, and also highlighted stats. The way highlighted stats work, if you see gold fine here, and you see how there's a little dot here, it's hard to see, some are red, some are black. If I said, okay, I want this to highlight whatever I've clicked, and the way the highlights work is you just go on it. Let's say you wanted gold, for example. You want to see gold fine on your gear, you click it, boom, it's part of the highlighted stats. Everything that's black here and not ticked will not show up as a loot filter and will automatically get filtered out to whatever you have here. So that's how highlighted stats work. Let's just turn off gold fine. I'll leave fragment fines just in case they're useful, and same with these for later on. But as you see, I've only have a certain amount of gear that I want to see when I'm farming for gear. Mainly, I want the magic fine quantity, and second would be magic fine quality. So I'm trying to set up a magic fine quantity build and quality build. Not been farming too much. The game's kind of gotten a bit stale when you hit this kind of point to it. It's just grinding for the grind. But as you see, we currently have how many magic fine? We don't have a lot. I've only been playing a couple of hours here and there. We have 74% quantity. I'm pretty sure with this, I can get it to like maybe 220, 240 if I have quantity on everything. So that's what we're going for. And like I said in my build guide, the knight's the best for quantity and magic finding because of the stat we have here. It doubles it adds 2 of our stats from the chest. So it doubles the chest stats. So if you see we have that much magic find on the chest, if we take it on and off, this adds 44 magic find just by itself. So it doubles everything here. Hence why we went for damage reduction. And the melee reduction just came with it. I decided to keep it because it's triple, why not? So let's get on with it. The best way to do magic finding here, I just want to look for something. I think it's called split. Let me just find it. I cannot find it, but there's 2 zones you want to farm. The best one is this, right over here. And the reason this is the best is enemies have a 100% chance to be revived upon dying. Now, I think there's one more zone that's really good. I've not farmed it at all. I don't know where it is. You guys can just go through this one by one and have a look. People said some of them are farming a zone where I think it's when you get them down to half health, they split into 2 enemies. You could do that. It's somewhere around here. But I just like to stick to this one because it's guaranteed to spawn enemies. So I'll show you how it works, and I'll show you why I wasn't, in my build guide, killing the boss at the end. Which I'll show you a boss run with this as well, just so you get a base idea. So let's go on to this. As you see, it has armor penetration, elemental damage. Well, that's not what we want, right? You can keep running this zone, but we're going to say, right, that's not what we want, so let's look for quant. Type in quant up there, and you'll see a little orange marker. It'll say pretty much this has a higher chance to drop fragment fine and magic quantity armor. Now, just because it says that, don't expect much. I've went 3 hours without finding one pure stat triple magic quantity armor. So I was thinking of just running maybe 2 quant just to get my magic fine up and then farm for 3, but I just decided, you know what? Whenever we feel like playing this game an hour a day, here and there, just go for the best one. If it drops, it drops. So this is the build. Obviously, if you guys want to see this build guide, I do have a video up. I don't have a planner up. As I explain how at a certain point you can pretty much use whatever you like on the gear once you get to a certain point. So we're just going to get through this map. And we're keeping our eye on for any gear that drops. Any gear that drops will be highlighted gear. So it's stuff that we're seeking, and it'll be max pure stat. It's not guaranteed to be max roll, but it's pretty damn high. And we're just going to go back. I know I could just open up a portal, not waste time, but I like just clearing the whole thing. So we go through there. Let's just go through all this. We go down. And I'll show you guys what I mean when I complete this map. Because as you saw in the other map, we had different stuff. We didn't have anything that we want to farm. So there was no point going into the 100% kill map. You could keep running that map as it has a high base, high loot drop. But I'm currently attempting to do target farming with stuff that I want. So let's get on through if my movement speed wasn't too bloody fast. So there we go. That's done. Minute 40 should be like a minute 20, but I was a bit slower there. So now that we've completed that, the way it works is all this has reset now. So if you see a boss like this and you go, wow, or if you come here and you find, wow, I have magic find quantity or I have inner fire damage on this, I really want to farm this zone. Let's just pretend this has quant or a mod that you guys are looking for. I'll show you how this works and I'll also show you the negatives. So let's say there's quant on this map. There isn't. There's, I think, crit chance. So let's say we're looking for crit chance. We're going to do the zone. Keep an eye out for any gear that drops. Like that. So you won't see a lot of gear dropping, even with my level of quant, which is not the highest. Pretty sure I could triple it up and a bit further, but I'm just looking for the right mod drops, which is very hard to get. Because the reason Magic Find's very hard to get, I'm pretty sure it only shows up on amulets, and I think it's wrist. It's only 2 pieces it shows up for. I know amulets 100%, that's where they show up. So that's why it's very hard to get that. So we're just going to run through this map, see what we get. And I'll show you guys how I do it. So we're going to the next zone. So make sure you don't complete it, as completing the zone will reset it. So you can spend hours looking for the right mod here. Finally get it, maybe you lose a bit of concentration and you accidentally go through the portal when it's completed. And you definitely don't want to do that. So we're just going to run through all this. We're already here. I might as well show you the full run. You guys can skip ahead of the video. I don't edit it. So if you guys get sick of me running through here, babbling on, trying to fill up space, you can go for that. Because I want to show the full strat in one go instead of just explaining to you guys. I'd rather do a visual show for it. We're here, might as well. If I can get over this table if I'm not paying attention. Because when I play, I just look at the top right of the map, right? I want to know where the next zone is, so that's why you might see me bump into a lot of stuff. So we're on the next zone. Now we know for a fact this zone's the last zone. If we go through the blue portal here, we mess up and it resets the whole Nether Realm mods again. So we have to refarm and refind it. So I'll show you what I do. I keep going and I try and get all the breaches ASAP so I know where the portal spawns, right? So I know the portal's there. I'm never going to click on it. And we just finish off the rest of the map. And we just look for gear. Now, let's just say here, I killed every single place here, right? Let's just say everything's dead. I completed the whole map. All that's left is this portal. We're not going to go through it. What you're going to do is go to your top right here. You're going to click on this, and you're going to go abandon. You're going to go yes. Now, the negatives for this is, number one, you're not going to get Nether Charges, which are these. And if you read it, it makes it so the more Nether Charges you gain, the higher the chance, this percent chance will go up for Nether Gear. It starts at 6, and I think it goes all the way to 20. And if you see here, we get 21 for completing this zone. And if you're farming for Nether Gear, the best thing to do, you see how this says ×2? This means it'll give you double Nether Charges. So this gives 33. You would fill this up to 60, and then go find a boss you want to farm. Let's say we're looking for waste, right? Let's say for some reason this boss drops 4 waste pieces. What you would want to do is go into the zone, get up to the boss, kill it, loot the chest, and if you get no Nether Gear, you just leave. You don't leave from the portal, you leave from how we just did in that area, and you go back, and that same boss will have the same amount of mods, like same amount of gear. So that's how I farm certain Nether Gear. But the main thing to do is complete a zone, come over here, and you see it hasn't changed, right? Crit chance is still there. And we're just looking for certain mods to appear on this. Now, if you guys want to look through everything, I do apologize for not being prepared for this. But one of these zones also has a mod that makes enemies split. And I am pretty sure it is when they get to 50 or 30% life, they can split. That also means you have to negatively affect your damage, as I have way too much damage as it currently is. I just don't know where it is. I don't know if we could look for mods there. I doubt we can, but I just want to show that off. That's how I've been farming, a lot of my pure gear, as you can tell. That's the strat to go for. Quantity is very hard to get. And we got triple movement speed on magic stat. That is actually not too bad. Just in case I want to lose, for example, some inner fire chance, or, I want to lose, let's say, right, if I didn't need inner fire damage, let's say, I could put more movement speed on, get 12.8. We have a lot of movement speed on this build. 125%. But yeah, that's how I do it. This build's really fun. It's very fast. I do have a build guide if you guys want to watch. Some people were asking what weapon to use if you don't get your inner fire weapons. Honestly, anything goes. You could just have a read where it says like increased damage, increased crit chance, and just use whatever you think you're going to get the most damage out of. Just for a repeat while we're here, the inner fire weapons you're looking for are inner fire of firework. So this is one. That's the second best one. Well, that's the third best inner fire weapon, technically. I'll tell you why I say technically. This is the best inner fire weapon, or well, second best. But in the inner fire category where they have effects for inner fire, this is the best. The best weapon overall is obviously the Vengeance. Gives you a lot of life, pumps my damage up quite a bit. It adds an actual digit here, so it actually adds multiple millions. And yeah, if you want to see a little run of that, I could show you. Let's just pick a random boss. But that's how I farm pure gear. If that's all you guys came for, is just to see the pure gear, you can. That's no problem. You can leave. If so, I'll show a boss demonstration with this build, as I didn't do it on my showcase before. If I'm not messing up the goddamn playstyle of this build. Also, make sure you get your tenacity capped out. I didn't. That's why I'm getting Sloan. Because I accidentally replaced one of my gears that I wasn't meant to, and I lost tenacity quite a bit. So I just have to refix that later. Down the line, I'll be putting pure tenacity on my gear. I just have not been farming too much. But this build has no problem once it pops off. It's just we had a slow start there because we kept getting stunned. I wasn't, I'm too busy talking. So I'm not playing anywhere close to optimally. But now that we're popping off, every time you speak, you get the worst mod in the game, which is this. It's horrendous. So we're just going to go through this. But build's really tanky, as you can see. Even without this weapon, I showed you guys I did a nether area, and it was completely fine. I'm just showing the overpowered weapon. As in my build showcase, I did show off just a gold find, just to lose damage. We're having no problems here. Our damages is just insane. And we're just going to get through this map. So this will be the last showcase. Just in case someone asks how the build works on bosses. It works fine. It's a bit slower if you're using the gold find. If we're using this, it literally, it adds an actual digit. So I go from like 500,000 inner fire damage straight up to 6 mil. 4.5 mil, so it's quite a bit. And we're not running optimal damage either, as I'm going for quantity and the defense, just to make the build comfy as humanly possible. We did miss, sadly, a area here. Oh, I really hate this mod with such a passion. Really wish the devs would remove it. It is so anti-fun, it's insane. It adds no difficulty scaling, no thinking, no strats. It's just pure annoyance. I don't know why they did it. I'm hoping that's... So, the life problem with this weapon that I'm using is every time you spawn to a new area, your life will start at the value of what it is without the weapon. So, you're going to be missing out on quite a bit of life. But if you have the block necklace like me, and a high block chance, and we're also taking a mod on a skill tree somewhere, which I think I didn't... I've talked about it in the build guide, but I decided to use it, and where is it? So yeah, I decided to lose the immune while deflect is up for area damage, and I just went with this. Makes it so we take almost no damage. Or we take no damage while we have block ready. So the way I go is immune, throw my things, do my little spins, and we just sit in the middle. I don't have tenacity, so I might get frozen here. But as you see, it does a lot of damage whenever we can. Because the bosses have certain phases you can't damage them, that's why all the ads appear. And thank God the ads appear, or this build would not be too great. And let's say this boss had a quad chest piece, and I'm trying to farm a nether chest piece. I would just come top right, Exit, absolutely. Sure, no problem. This doesn't waste your nether charges. Your nether charges go away as soon as you find a nether piece. Whether you pick it up or leave doesn't matter. Your charges are 0. So you might as well take that nether charge and then just refarm the charges all the way back up to 60. 60 is the most optimal. And the way you increase how you gain charges, if you go to Battlefield, each one of these zones are going to have their own influence. Press P, that's your influence. The higher this number goes, I think it's every 10 levels, it'll add an extra influence, extra charge gain to that area that you're doing. For example, the area that I like to farm and you guys should be farming, unless, you don't have a lot of damage, then look for the one where the enemy split. I still don't know where that is. But I'm sure if you guys just took 5 minutes just to look around, as the video is recording, I don't want to do 5 minutes of just emptiness. Just look around, look for the one that's split. You could also do that. But as I have way too much damage, I'm just forcing myself to do this zone right here. Right? 100% chance, it doubles all enemies. And if you see here, we're getting 21 nether charges. But if we go to a different zone that doesn't have a ×2, we get 17. Other zones 16, and the ×2 zones give quite a bit, 33. So that zone that we're farming is considered the Royal Palace area. It's always that map. It's never going to change. And the Royal Palace is this. And on the battlefield, it is right here. The Royal Wing. So if we got that to 100%, we should be getting 30 nether charges every time we do that zone. So if you're trying to farm Nether Gear, you could do that zone twice. Go for a boss. Or even better, if you want a lot of grind, they'll make you want to end it all. You could do every single zone up to 100. So get all this to 100 out of 100. That means every time you open up the nether, you look for the ×2 symbol with the flag. This should give you 60 plus. So if you had every zone capped out, you would just have to do one of these ×2 zones and then hunt your Nether Gear. 60 is the most optimal. You can go higher if you want a higher chance, but I just do 60 when I get it, and I use my almost infinite amount of Slorms to get it. But yeah, for right now, I'm looking for pure gear. Recap, look at whatever the mod here's are. If you don't like it, you can run this map, or let's say you wanted, inner fire damage. I don't know if that's how it works. Yeah. Let's say you're like, okay, this doesn't have any good mods. I want to focus on inner fire damage. I'm desperate. Oh, here we go. Inner fire damage. Run this, complete it, and then have a look here again. Doesn't have anything I want. Just come back up here, type in whatever damage you're looking for. We can even type in, ice res, press enter, and we just look around where ice res is. And you can keep doing this until you finally get whatever stat you're looking for. Fair warning, just because you're getting the right stat doesn't mean you're going to find it a lot. I probably have more quant than you guys have, and this still takes quite a while. For that case, if you guys don't care about getting triple perfect and you're like, I've started the nether, I just want to get nether gear, throw on a bunch of, +1, +2s of the exclamation marks, that's fine. Then what you would want to do, take off perfect on everything. And that way you're getting highlighter stats and pure stats showing up. So if we take off perfect, that means all the gear that shows up is going to have at least 1 exclamation mark. Which, if you see on the piece of gear like this, it goes up to 3, right? But sometimes you might just say, screw it, I just want to use, 2 exclamation mark. Like, I farmed a few just in case I do get sick of it and I want to throw them up, I have a 2 here, 3 quality, a 2 quant, 2 quant. And yeah, that's how it works. Also, one more thing about Magic Find. If you guys are wondering what quality does, when a piece of gear drops, let's say this green, it'll have a higher chance to be blue or purple, I think it is. And if you're thinking, well, what's the point of getting pure stats and, what's the point of getting quality and quant? Let's say I have movement speed here, right? And I want to put quantity here, and I want to put quality here. Well, the base stat, one of them's going to get covered, right? If I did quant and quality, well, I can't put movement speed on the base stat. So that means I have to find a movement speed piece, like this one, for example, that rolled away from the base and defense stat, right? It rolled on magic. So that means I could take this move speed and implement it into the magic slot here if I didn't need inner fire chance, right? For an example. And the way that pure gear works is, your chest piece, you cannot find a quality or quantity off the ground. The only things that drop quantity and quality, I know for a fact, is neck, and I'm pretty sure it's wrist. Don't bet on that, but it's one of the... There's one of these will drop quantity as well, so only 2 pieces that will. the way Nether Gear works is if you get a pure stat, as long as it follows, base stat to base stat, defense to defense when you're doing the conversion, which you do the conversion over here, right? Let's say I wanted to put on, which one of these have the charge? Let's say I wanted to go, all right, I want to put on belt, right? And now belt, where's my quality if we can show that? Let's just say belt cannot, I don't know if it can. Let's say it can't roll movement speed at all. You can farm 1,000,000 belts, you'll never see movement speed. The way you do it is like this, movement speed. So the way it works is nether pieces will take any stat, even if they can't roll those stats on their own as a base, and implement it there. It will force it over. So if you have a piece of gear and you're like, man, I need more inner fire charges or inner fire duration, but this certain piece of gear is not rolling it, just look for a pure stat that matches the right area. That's why we want quality, right? That's why you want to see quality. So you can see like reses like this, or even things like, if you look at the bottom stat here, my inner fire chance is 4% on the bottom. Maybe I want to get that higher, right? So you would want to see pure gear that are dropping on the bottom lines. That's all quality does. It is up to you if you want to run it. If you only care about the 4 base stats on top, which is base, defense, magic, and rare, those have the highest multipliers. Anything on the epic stat slot will have a lower multiplier, right? So instead of 20% melee reduction, if I put that on epic, I'd probably have somewhere between like 8 to 10, right? Even with the triple pure. That is the multiplier. So you want to keep your most important pieces on top. Hence why a lot of people don't look for pure stats on the bottom. But if if you need it, like, lightning res, for example, or whatever else you need, ice res, then that's why you'd want to use quant quality. If you guys want to see the build guide, please check my YouTube video. This game always makes me go on a rant because there's just so much to talk about. I do hope that future updates add a better endgame loop. As the endgame loop, the highest endgame loop there is, it is quite boring and you're just doing it for the grind. I could play other characters, but I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just the same grind over and over again, which kind of loses its fun after quite a while. But the game's I've had fun for 137 hours. It's pretty good. I still want to get all my quantity gear done. Hour here, 30 minutes here. But it's a great game. Would recommend it. If you have any questions on pure farming, if you have questions on inner fire builds, let me know. If you want to level up a knight, I linked the leveling build in my inner fire build guide. If you check my YouTube channel, that's the one I followed. I think it's a mighty swing leveling. I ended up swapping to Whirlwind after the third boss on the campaign. That's when I swapped to Whirlwind. I just decided to scale Whirlwind. Read the comments. I reply to people, so you might see the information that you need in the comments for the replies. Sorry for the long rant again, but you guys know how this game is. A lot to talk about, right? Especially when you're pretty much having a lot of fun with the game. I've kind of lost the fun, but I do jump on at least an hour a day to grind. So I guess the game still brings me back to a point. Thanks for watching, and please leave a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know if you guys need any other videos, as I covered most of the videos in this, my build, the magic find, how pure stats work. I don't think there's anything else to talk about in this game. Everything else is pretty in the open, and you guys should know about it anyway, right? I've already explained how influence works. By the way, quick tip, cap out your bravery if you're strong enough. It's the only way to get influence percent in the game. Like increased versions of it. If you see the third stat there, it says influence gain. Nothing else in the game does that. It's just bravery. And I showed you guys this build strong enough just to run a simple Slorm and gold find with the only damage risk coming from picking up gold, which is like, I think it does that anyway, which is whatever. This build's strong. It kills anything. Like I've tested it, with even like a level 1 weapon that's not leveled, and it just destroys everything, even the nether. Like I could throw this on, go into the nether, and it'll be fine. No point showing that off in the video unless you guys want to see it real quick for some reason. I know some people might want to see how strong it can be. Let's just go for the double again, eh? I'll just show like a couple ads. So we're going to pop immune. We're going to throw our shields. And once our shields are done, we're going to whirlwind. Get all our inner fires to be nice and big white orbs. And we burn everything in the game, and we just run through, right? Bada bing, bada boom, sit in all this, no problem. We have block, we have everything. Doesn't hurt us. Well, it hurts a tiny, tiny bit. But I'm not even area capped. I'm on 75%. If you want to make the area even less damage, just cap it up to 100%. And good luck on dying without certain mods on the map and you not having armor. The only way to die is if you don't gain enough armor and you just decide to sit there with the pathetic 12k life pool I have. With this weapon anyway. As you see, that's a level 1 weapon. This is our primordial round with double respawns, which Inner Fire feasts upon. It loves it. It means we're going to have our Inner Fires up a lot. Our Inner Fires have 55 second duration, which means I can run through an entire area like this with no problems at all. Like, before I even have to whirlwind or anything again. I just do that out of habit. But yeah, that's the showcase. That's enough rambling. You guys have a good one.